When you're out there on the lake and the winds are really kicking, creating a lot of chop and pushing that boat around, you definitely want to make sure that your trolling motor is in tip-top shape to keep you on that bite. I'm going to show you some maintenance tips that are going to keep you on the water longer and also keep you out of some expensive repairs. I'm also going to show you some things you might want to keep on your boat just in case you run into the unexpected. And that's coming up right here on Live to Fish. Hey everybody, welcome back to Live to Fish and glad you could be here. Today we're going to take a look at some tips and tricks to keep your trolling motor up and running. The first thing I want to recommend is that if you don't have a toolbox for your boat, make sure that you get one. You're going to want tools that say if you get hooked, you can get the hook out, and also if there's anything that goes wrong on the boat, you can do the repairs yourself on the water. And no, I'm not talking major engine repairs by any means, but some of the basic tools like electrical tape, a wire crimper, a wire stripper, things that'll let you do electrical repairs and or repairs to hoses, and little things like clamps that'll help you get back to shore so you can get the major repairs done if need be. And in addition to the toolbox, here's a few things that I would recommend you definitely keep on board your boat. First off, I would recommend keeping on board a spare prop for your trolling motor. Now this one just happens to come with a spare nut and also a couple of spare bolts to keep the housing connected. Essentially, that's where the main gasket is going to be in the lower unit. And these things are critical. Make sure that you have some shearing pins, some spare nuts, and also some spare washers. Now the shearing pins are something that I kept even on my skiff back when I used to use the trolling motor on that, because if you are unfortunate to hit something with your prop, this is the first line of defense and the shearing pin will break before the prop will. Well, at least hopefully. But I'm going to go into greater detail on that in just a second. I'm going to show you first how to get the nut and the washer off of here and get to that shearing pin if you need to replace it. But at the same time, let's take a look at the maintenance and what's needed. I can't stress enough that you need to check this on a regular basis to make sure that no fishing line or no obstructions are inside the housing unit of your trolling motor. Now to check inside, we're going to need to take the prop off, but first make sure that that notch there is horizontal. That's the notch for the shearing pin. Make sure that that's horizontal before you take the nut off. Now this bolt here for the Minn Kota Edge 45 takes either a 13mm socket head, and if you don't happen to have a metric tool set on board, just look for the 1/2 inch socket head, and this will get that nut off of the Minn Kota Edge for you. Now I'm going to be using the 1/2 inch socket on this. We're going to go ahead and put it on the nut, and we're going to rotate to the left. Lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. And I'm going to take it not all the way off of that bolt. I'm going to leave it to where there's still a little bit of tension on it still. And I'm going to remove the rest of it by hand just because I don't want it to drop and risk a chance of losing it. Definitely want to do that if you're going to be doing that over the water as well. Now, there's going to be a little bit of snugness here because it's set on that shearing pin. So you're going to want to tug on that just a little bit. Again, keep your thumb on top of that washer so that the washer doesn't come loose. So important that you keep control over that stuff, especially if you're doing this out on the water so you don't lose it. Now, there's the shearing pin. Everything looks in good shape. There looks to be a little bit of fishing line or wire or something in there. But I'm going to go ahead and remove that. But other than that, I don't have any debris in there, so everything's looking good. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove this shearing pin, and the reason I do that is because from experience, I've seen it where it's actually cracked, and it's in two pieces, but it's held together inside there. But no, everything looks good. It's not bent up. It's definitely not cracked, so I'm going to feed it right back through there. And we're going to go ahead and reverse the process and get everything put back together. I'm going to show you the back side of the prop here, and this little notch is where the shearing pin rests inside there. And again, by design, the shearing pin is designed to break if there's any obstruction or anything hits that prop. So the prop doesn't break, the shearing pin will. And when putting the prop back on, you just have to be careful you don't drop that washer. And again, I did state that you want to make sure you have that horizontal, that little notch. It just makes it a lot easier to line back up with that shearing pin and get it set back into place. Making sure to put the washer down first and then the nut on top of that. Tighten it down by hand first, and then you're going to go ahead and take that socket and tighten it down a little bit more. Now, when you're tightening this back down, make sure that you don't over tighten it. What you want to do is you just want to basically tighten it down with the socket until it's about snug, and then make another little quarter turn from there, and you should be all set. Another consideration is to always make sure you have a backup for another common point of failure, and that is the pull string. Now that rope attached to the pulley handle can dry rot or weaken over time, so you want to make sure that you have a spare on hand just so that you don't have it snap and then you have no way to pull your trolling motor back up. And speaking of having problems with getting your trolling motor in and out, these latches here sometimes can get a little sticky, get a little corroded. You definitely want to keep everything lubed up, and including this hinge here at the head of the unit. Heck, my boat was brand new and I was having a problem with this thing sticking all the time. And the solution to maintaining that was actually pretty simple. I just had to pick up some white lithium grease, spray it inside where those latches are and where the hinges are at. It fixed the problem immediately, loosened everything right up. So spend a little bit of time on the maintenance and you're going to be spending a whole lot more time out there on the water. So until next time, be safe, be well, and as always, live to fish. Tight lines, everybody.